So the iBuyer space is home sellers going to sell, right? Okay. This concept has always existed, right? There's always been somebody in your neighborhood who's willing to buy a house for 70 or 80% of its value really fast with their cash.
Yeah, like those yellow signs on the freeway that say buy cash now.
You see them on the off ramps.
I'll buy your house. Yeah. I'll buy your house cash. Yeah.
That's actually a pretty big business now. That actually is all systematized, but
it's not just someone scribbling on a sign saying I'll buy your house. Yeah.
It's like a system you can subscribe to. But yeah,
that's funny.
That's always existed, but they were largely predatory, right? Okay. Which is there's always investors
because they're looking for people in trouble, and then I'll get they'll get a deal on your house.
Yeah,
basically.
So if I can buy a house for 80% of value in our neighborhood, I would do that all day long. Right. I'd buy every one I get my hands on, and I'd renovate it, put it back on the market, and I'd make the spread.
Right.
But what we're seeing now is actually systematic smart corporations with really good tools, offering 94% of the value of your house. Like, take it, move out on Monday.
Right. Like, so, because you're going to pay that anyway with commissions, and then take the brain damage of it not going through, falling out, all the crap that goes along with that. Right. So someone comes along, I'll buy it 6% off.
So you got Knock, you've got Open Door, you've got Redfin with Redfin Now, you've got Invitation
Zillow
Homes.
Jumping into that?
Zillow is 100% in the game. They're doubling down, as a matter of fact, in the space.
Okay. So they're a frenemy, kind of, or not?
They're making 92, 93, 94% of fair market value offers on houses with we'll close on Monday. And by the way, just take your time and move out when you're ready. And we'll help you with the loan on the next one. So this is very real in Atlanta and in Phoenix right now. Okay. So in Phoenix, it's my understanding that about 20 to 22% of the inventory that would normally come to the market is not coming to the market because it's being purchased by one of the iBuyers.
Oh, wow.
So we're one in 5 houses is just magically disappearing because an investor bought it before it ever came to the market.
Wow. So transactions are diminishing.
Right. Unit counts down, and the agents in Phoenix are now walking into listing presentations, and instead of starting with a conversation with, hey, my name's Chris, here's what I can do for you, the seller is standing there going, I have an offer for $264,000 for an Open Door in my hand. What are you going to do to better this? It's a very different dialogue.
That's very interesting. So unpack that more. How does that affect? I guess it's going to affect agents. It's going to affect neighborhoods. So let's take the math here, right? So if it costs me 5% to sell my house, then arguably I'm going to get 95% of the fair market value. If the iBuyers went from 92 or 93, 4% up to 95, then it would be irrational for me to actually list my house. Right.
I could not have any showings, not have any open houses, not having to go through my drawers. And
does that doesn't really show, because it won't show up on the MLS as a closed deal, right?
No, it'll show up in the tax records. It will never been listed in the MLS.
So as far as comps go, your neighbor's not going to go, well, you sold your house cheap, I'm pissed because it's not showing. You know what I mean? With comps, when you get appraisals and you have, this house sold. Is it going to create a downward pressure on prices at all, or do you think it or not?
Well, it's going to be fun for appraisers to sort out, because appraisers tend to use the MLS as a source of truth, right?
Yeah.
So if you're an appraiser and you're in Phoenix and 20% of the market isn't in the MLS,
right?
Should you be using that data? I mean, arguably yes.
Right.
But we would normally say, hey, those are opportunistic sellers who were desperate. But what we're seeing in the real numbers is these are not desperate parties. Yes, there are people that inherited a house and they don't know who's in Phoenix.
Sure.
And they use an iBuyer to provide liquidity and ease and convenience. But there are baby boomers in that bunch. There are Gen X, Gen Y, all of the above. It's the entire demographic spectrum of you know what? Getting the maximum value isn't the top priority for me. In my case, my wife found a new place and she wanted to be in the new place, and the desire to not lose the new place was actually more than extracting the permanent value out of the last place, right? So sometimes the motivation isn't on, just getting me top dollar on the old house. It's securing the new move, making sure I don't lose the house of my dreams. That becomes more valuable. So then all of a sudden the iBuyer thing starts to go very, very mainstream. I just don't want to have open houses. It's a pain.